Oh, motherfucker.
Hey there, two logs. Today I'm going to go through a whole bunch of mistakes that I made with my first attempts at milling lumber with an Alaskan chainsaw mill. So in this first video you can see I've got the ladder on there. I drilled some holes through the rungs of the ladder like I saw in a video and screwed the ladder onto the log. Turns out that doesn't work very well, and I ended up getting a really twisted cut. The ladder doesn't really sit nice and tight that way, and ended up getting a twist into it, and I didn't check it with a level either before I started, so that probably would have made a difference. But anyways, I don't recommend trying it to set up your mill rails this way. You should probably set it up the way that I'm going to show you in a little bit. So now that I'm on my way into my cut, which is actually my first ever cut with a Alaskan chainsaw mill, we're going to let you know that I'm using a ripping chain, which should give you a straighter, cleaner cut. And this is the first cut off the edge of the log, which is really, really important to get it absolutely perfectly straight and not have a twist in it, which I failed at in this video. But what do you expect for first time trying something out? Sometimes you're going to fail, and that's how you learn how to do things, and that's how you manage to do things that you never knew you could do before or couldn't do before. Here you can see the results of my first ever cut with the Alaskan mill. And in the second picture here, we can see that it's got a bit of a twist to it. So I rotated it 90 degrees, got a good top cut, and here's my first live edge slab cut with the Alaskan mill. My second log was a little bit thicker and about at the limit of what I can cut through with the chainsaw mill. So I started by trimming off any little branch stubs that were sticking out, and then I decided that since the bark was so loose, I would pull off the bark, because the bark will dull the chain a lot quicker, and it was going to fall off anyways when I milled the log. You can see here how loose the bark really is. I'm pulling it off with just my hands. That's because the tree was already dead when I cut it down, and it sat there on the ground for a little while. I'll put a link in the description to the video of me cutting the tree down in the first place so that you can see how it got to the ground. After trying several unsuccessful methods to set up the rails for the chainsaw mill, this is what I found that finally worked for me. So I'm screwing in a piece of 2x4 on the end of the log and setting it level, and then I've got two screws that sit on the ends of the board, and those screws keep the ladder from falling off the edge. Then I move to the other end of the log and set up another 2x4 and set that level, then put the ladder on top, double check to make sure that both ends are still sitting level so that I know I have a straight and not twisted cut, and then it's a good idea to check the ladder for level as well. Alright, so here I am with my cheesy chainsaw mill that I got from Princess Auto, and oh, motherfucker. So, here's a tip. If you're setting up your mill or filling your chainsaw, don't do it on the slabs that you just milled, and definitely don't hold up your fancy new chainsaw to show off to the camera without closing the cap on the bar oil. So anyways, here's my cheap chainsaw mill that I got from Princess Auto. Sliding the guides up and down is a gigantic pain in the ass, and you want to get them exactly right. So I've cut spacer blocks that are, these ones are 6 7/8 because my ladder and my 2x4 is 6 3/4, so that clears it a little bit extra because the kerf of the chain is going to take out a bit more. And then for I made some up for milling my 2-inch slabs, and
these ones are 2 1/8. So, or well, a little more, maybe 2 3/16, and that gets at least the 2 inches. So I want to end up with 1.5 inch thick slab after I plane them, and allows for the extra curve that the chain cut takes out. So I'm using a ripping chain on the chainsaw here. Supposedly, it's supposed to make better cuts in a chainsaw mill and not weeble wobble back and forth. I don't know if that's true. I didn't try the regular chain to do any cuts, so I don't have a comparison. That's about it. Let's run our first cut. I laid out some wedges next to the log. You're going to need them because your cut will sag as you run your chainsaw through, and then that'll pinch your bar. You want to make sure that your chainsaw is warmed up already before you start, and have it like started, warmed up and ready to go before you put it onto your rails. And then make sure you have a full tank of gas and full bar oil, because it's going to use both of those in your cut. You definitely want to have ear protection for this. Really loud on your ears when you got the chainsaw like right close to you and for a really extended period of time. So I got my guide bar all set. Slide it out. And I'm ready to start my cut. So, what did I do wrong there? Really important. You got to put a wedge in on your first, as soon as you get, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches in on the beginning of your cut. You need to put a wedge in there, or the end of your ladder is going to drop, and that means your rails drop, and then you get a curve in your cut. I also, in turning the saw, wandered off the edge, fucked that up, and I caught the edge here on a piece of the log and tipped it up. So anyways, we'll pull the saw off the rails, and we'll pull the ladder off. So, definitely not too great down at this end. All right, so I decided that I'm gonna recut this because it's pretty fucked up. I set a 6-foot level on it as a straight edge, and it's got a big swoop in it, and I don't want to repeat that over the whole rest of the log. So I set my pieces of 2x4 back up close to the edge, Gotta be really careful not to angle your screws downwards or they'll run into the chain. And it's a good idea if you take your level and set it on right on the ladder as well, and not just on the boards, because the ladder's what you're going to be running on. So anyways, let's see if I can cut this one without screwing it up completely. All right, so I got a straight cut that doesn't have a twist in it, and I got whatever the hell that board is. I don't know if I'll just throw it out, but anyway, now I can cut the rest of my slab. All right, so I've used my spacer blocks to set up my mill to cut a 2-inch slab. I got my chainsaw warmed up and full of fuel and full of bar oil, and I'm ready to cut my first slab off of this log now that I have a nice straight cut. So let's do this and see how much I managed to fuck things up again. looks like I got a good cut. So I'll throw this off to the side. And I'm ready to make my next one. That is going to make some nice coffee tables, I think.